Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, my guest this morning, straight up, we've got Chukwuemeka Eze. He's a lawyer and public affairs analyst, and Dr. Fasi Yusuf, a communications consultant, as well as a lawyer. Thank you very much, Fasi, for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
Indeed. Well, as we were just saying, when a thing begins to reside constantly on the front pages, I guess of all the newspapers virtually, I'm talking about this whole IPOB, MASOB matter, the whole issue of issuing an ultimatum. Now, of course, the Sultan of Sokoto, who was visited, has spoken of the rotten system that is fueling all of these agitations all over the place. And because we are not handling things right in a line, of course, he said a lot more. Chukwuemeka, this system, it is the system that is getting the blame for everything. We've said this continually, but maybe when we hear it from this kind of, do you think it's going to do anything to our resolve to amend the system, make the system better?
Yes, I think I agree that the system is very bad. The reason is this: a system that stultifies you from bringing out your best. For instance, you have a good contract, you have a good idea, you send it to a ministry. Somebody there corners it and gives it to his brother who cannot perform. And the system will not protect the person who gave the idea. And at the end of the day, the contract may be performed without even informing you. And the system will not even protect you.
And so that's just one instance, because you could then take that kind of a system you talk about, take it straight into the judiciary, for example, and find its own version of the same thing.
In us first, I just picked one. And a system whereby, when giving awards, a teacher who has been doing his best in the last 40 years will never get award. A mechanic that has been faithful will not be given an award. It is only politicians, traditional rulers.
Emergency contractors.
So, contractors. So, you discover that the system is built on marginalization.
So, who's running the system?
No.
Is it running itself?
No, let me tell you. That brings us to the source. When a system gives you liberty, for instance, it allows for people to develop their potentials. I give you an instance. If you have the states or the regions managing their affairs to a reasonable extent without running to Abuja, then you discover that those in the Southwest may decide to declare free education, the whole Southwest. It does not stop. The Southeast may say, we will not declare. So if you're a businessman, you feel your business will thrive better in the Southeast, you move over to Southeast. If you feel that the tax structure in the Southeast is killing, you move over to Northwest. That system, some people might prefer to go into technology, some people will prefer to go into this. If in our region we decide to set our mark, examination should be regional.
Okay.
You now see that you can develop in this direction, you can develop. But where you structure a system centrally, everybody must be looking in that direction. Some people are dying, some people are succeeding so much. So it's definitely that system can never work.
Okay, Fasi, so in a word, loaded, Emeka's contribution, in a word, he's talking about fairness. In the first instance, we have a lot of people will say a system that is very largely unfair. It goes back to you're not connected, you're not going to go anywhere. So it even goes to areas of self-determination. Your view?
Well, if you talk about the constitution of this Federal Republic of Nigeria, even in its imperfect state, all manners of things that will make this country to excel are there. We talk about justice, you talk about equity, you talk about fair play, everything is there. But unfortunately, the operators of the Constitution, although the Constitution is flawed in every material respect, but even as it is, if the operators are to operate the rules of the game the way they should be, then this country will not be talking about agitation, will not be talking about referendum, will not be talking about separation, will not be talking about disenfranchisement, disillusionment, and what have you. The problem we've got in this country is that we we jettisoned the 1963 Constitution. The military came in, the military adventurers came in, and they decided to set aside the Constitution. And what did they do? They came about with the unitary system of a government. And because of that, the head of state then, either by act of omission or commission, General Aguiyi Ironsi, paid the supreme sacrifice. And one would have thought that I won't pay the supreme sacrifice. Those who took off from him will go back to the Constitution and practice it the way it should be. And I'm amazed and I'm embarrassed by the statement being credited to IBB that there is time for restructuring.
It is time for restructuring.
When he was there for over 8 years, he was the one that brought us to our knees. And if you knew all this, and we're not practicing the way federalism should be practiced, we are not succeeding in building institutions that will guarantee democracy, that will guarantee liberty, that will guarantee fair play, that will guarantee equity, that will guarantee justice, then we can go nowhere.
What do you think, Emeka, is the problem with sitting, as it were, around a table, metaphoric table, and thrashing these matters out? The Sultan was saying yesterday that this is part of the problem. We have the society that we have not engaged, so these agitations will continue. What do you think is the problem?
I think we will need to sit down and discuss sensitive issues. It is this I refuse. If I used to liken this to a
okay, it's a matter about the sensitivity of the subject. Sensitivity to who?
Excuse me.
Wait a minute. Sensitivity to who?
You know, each government, anytime they hold a constitutional conference, a national conference, they say, oh, this one, no go area, this and that. Let me tell you, I didn't know this long ago, but when I married, serious issues. My wife will call me maybe very early in the morning or late in the and say, oh, darling, we need to sit down and discuss this matter. And sometimes I may be uncomfortable to discuss that matter. But she will say, we have to discuss it. And so I believe, excuse me, I believe one of the things, okay.
So you're saying that that little example you gave is what is part of what we're experiencing on a national scale.
Let me tell you, communication is key. One of the reasons why Western countries are succeeding, if you open CNN, talking every time, as you keep on giving your energy in talking, you will do less of shooting. But whereby you stop people from talking, they will now reserve energy to shoot. So basically, we need to be a talker, do a lot of jojo, because by creation we are meant to talk. Mouth has been given, though with certain regulations. But what I mean in this country, why jettison the 2014? Do you think that if we had been courageous enough, I don't want to talk about the previous ones, we ought to have discussed, I align myself with him, that the 1963 Constitution is the way to go. If we go back to it, that will be the ultimate. But even if some people say, don't go back to it, old things are passed away, all things have become new. The latest one, 2014, as a new government, they could say, okay, we don't like some of these provisions, but majorly, let's take substantial provisions and move on. Because if they discuss, if they allow Nigerians to talk, you discover that many people that we even talk, they are intermarried. Okay. They would like to go nowhere.
I wonder if attached to that problem is not the problem of the politicization, for instance, of census matters. You know, that has been a very sensitive matter.
You see, unfortunately, I want to differ. The point is, who determines what is good for this country? Is it a clique of people? If you take them together, they are less than 5 to 10,000 out of a population of 160 or 170 million people. So how do we determine those who have the interests of the country? Is it because somebody is the president, somebody is the vice president, somebody is the senate president, or we have said legislators that will determine for 180 million people how things should be done? Why, if we take any action now, the answer is already known.
No, I don't understand. Because the way government is structured is that you have to have those people representing you. Everybody can't be in the National Assembly.
Look at 2014.
Yes.
As much as possible, the arrangement was flawed. But agree, let's close our eyes to that. The gentlemen and women that were there agreed among themselves that things should be done by consensus. And they agreed. only for some set of people now to come up to say they were disassociating themselves with those agreements they reached in 2014. And the immediate past president had no political will to implement those things. He set up that this thing. He knew that in this country, whatever you do, it goes with your administration.
As you know, it wasn't everybody that was happy with the 2014 concept.
The country is in a state of flux.
Yes.
Until our leaders are able to agree that powers reside in the people, sovereignty belongs to the people, and that they should be allowed to decide for themselves what they want. It's not for a particular set of a particular part of the country to decide for us what we should do, or because of their numerical strength to determine that this is what you want and it must be. No.
Okay. With this whole matter of census, as I was saying earlier, I think it is also one of those key areas where, for some reason, it has been such a very, very sensitive matter.
It's highly politicized.
Highly politicized.
And the economic destiny of this country is tied to it.
There you go. Yeah. And these are part of the sensitive issues that we can't talk about and that we can't do a proper census about. And
but when you're building a house, there is a foundation. Some of these issues that we take on the surface, maybe you're building a house, Nigeria is a house. You think of peace. Peace is a project. All these things are projects. You ask yourself, where are you coming from? No matter how good the edifice is, if the foundation has problem, definitely the house will collapse one day. We need, personally, my thinking is this. Let us talk and agree to give people a little more space. For instance, if you allow me in the southeast or southwest to do a lot within my region without going to Abuja, let foreign affairs, economy, currency, defense, all those things we know in a federal system, it rests within the federal system. But as long as you depend on manipulating the regions, in the First Republic, somebody wanted to be at the federal. He needed to destabilize the region to have a stranglehold on the federal. Now, the Swiss people, Switzerland, they have what we call cantons. You have the president. You have 6 vice presidents. You power, because once you know planning, you will know something in advance. If you know the way power will go, that after this president, this person will become the next president, either by person or from where he comes from, then the system should plan how to do power succession. Do you know that before the 2015 election, many investors left this country? How will you, after 2-3 years, investors will leave the country, only few will decide to come back? We have not gotten it proper, this power structure, power transfer. But how will you get it right? It is when you discuss, you have the regions.
Yeah.
Then you have structure. Maybe out of 6 regions, let's have one of them will be president. After that, another person from the other region who is a vice president will follow. After that, the other vice president.
Yes, so this is part of
structure. People will relax.
That is one structure. But I see that Fancy takes some exceptions to this suggestion. Wait a minute, you're going to have your turn. In fact, let me go on a quick break and come back and then come back to hear your perspective. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. Restructuring invariably comes into the conversation. The system is rotten, according to the Sultan of Sokoto, and that is what is fueling agitations. Emeka's just finished giving us one view of possible restructuring. Fancy?
You see, the whole system is rotten. And until they can remove this cancerous system from our body politic, the country will not know any progress and the country will not know any peace. There will continue to be agitation. I empathize with the vice president. You see, when you look at the structure on ground, the structure cannot sustain this country. It's like a time bomb. It's like a time bomb. Look, for example, look at the Land Use Act. It vests land in the various states.
In the various state governments.
I mean, using the governor as the keeper. But you discover that the federal government has taken the juicy parts of the land, like the oil-rich area now. The various governors cannot control the lands with those because they have oil installations there. And because they have oil installations, because federal government being aware that, well, oil is the key to the economy, it's taking that. Mining, government has taken that, and all that. Should federal government concern himself with all that in a federalism? Was that what we were practicing before the military adventurers came into play? And because too much power resides with the government, they will not let go. And until they let go all these things, and they let them decide where they should be, there will continue to be agitation, there will continue to be problems. When you talk about the system, honestly, who brought about the system? Who operates the system? We human beings. So what are we doing about the system? What is the federal government willing to do about the system?
Well, since the military adventurers, as you call them, since they installed the unitary constitution, and you said, and I think rightly so, that it's too much power, it is so sweet, they don't want to let go. So you're talking about leadership, the kind of leadership that will come and say that we can talk till we're blue in the face, as they say. It's not nothing's going to happen until you have someone who is saying that all those ideas, our government, this regime or this administration is going to address them squarely. But I fear democracy is going to get in the way.
Unfortunately, the current administration has all these things in its manifesto.
Yeah,
and it has not got the strength, the ability to implement some of them. It is regrettable that the acting president is talking about the issue of that restructuring is not in the manifesto of APC. And I've taken pains to read through. I've read so many things they ought to be doing or to have done, and they've not done, and they are not doing.
Maybe because it's too hot a potato.
Why?
People say it's a hot potato.
It means they try to woodwink voters to get their votes because people are clamoring for change, and people thought they would get the type of government they deserved, and they're getting the type of government they did not deserve or they do not deserve, which is very sad and very melancholic. See, until we have the strength, the moral capacity to handle this country the way it should be handled. This one we don't know any peace. Look at our education. Look at the manufacturing sector. What is happening in this country? The country is upside down. And is it the country of your dream? Is it the country of my dream?
And all of these are indeed what is fueling agitations, because people feel a sense of it's not fair.
Yes. Ask yourself, in the constitutional conferences held before independence, the people we have been praising, Ahmadu Bello, Zik, and Awolowo, is this the country they envisaged? Did they envisage that we run this system? In all the constitutional conferences, did they ever agree that we'll be running to one capital, everything? You do federal road in a remote village in 900 kilometers away, and you'll be having federal road. And you're expecting somebody in Abuja to see that road and construct it in the next 25 years. Now, you give out a contract in a remote village 1,200 kilometers away. You sign it in Abuja. Nobody knows the name of the contractor. The people that will enjoy the facility, they are not stakeholders. They don't know the contractor. They don't know the amount involved. They don't know the duration. They cannot complain. How can you run such a country?
Well,
and you are waiting for a do-gooder.
One-time military president, IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, is now seemingly an apostle of restructuring.
And it's good.
And I don't trust him. I don't trust him. He's not a leader to be trusted.
Okay.
He's not a leader to be trusted. He brought this country down to his knees.
And because
such a person should not be heard at all. It's not to even be listened to. You see, the media is glorifying him.
So you don't think his word is well?
Do you trust him? The Maradona? Do you trust him?
So it goes back.
Do you trust him?
I have to leave that whole matter. You know, you can tell us what. we can only report that suddenly the man has said that, you know what, restructuring ain't such a bad idea.
He's a new convert now. He's a new convert.
Well, these are the issues.
When he's going to his grave, when he knows he can no longer contest, he can pontificate now. It's easy.
Oh dear. It comes back to the whole matter of sincerity again. How sincere are we really? Seems to be one of those issues. So it goes back to this whole matter about a hot potato, too sensitive, that is a no-go area, and now that's the whole issue of trust. Yeah. And suspicions have been deepened by recent odious rearings of ethnicism and those kind of clashes.
We built the foundation of this country on ethnicism. We built the foundation of this country.
Let me take Mr. George, who called in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
Same thing to your guests.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, permit me to totally disagree with those who are arguing that the system is to blame. It is not a problem of the system. The problem is with the operators of the system. The whole concept of agitations, Biafra, and all the rest, I dare say that it is a package designed by those who lost elections to make it impossible for those who won. That is the simple truth of the matter. When the so-called conference that Jonathan organized, he gave terms and said nobody must go to the area of restructure. Those who are agitating now didn't say anything then. Uncle Yori, remember, when that conference attempted to visit the section that deals with allocation of funds between federal government, states, and local government, that was what brought about the end of that conference. You remember? It tore that conference apart. And then when a system is benefiting some people, it is okay.
Yeah.
When it is no longer beneficial to them, it is then they begin to blame the system. Let me just say this, Uncle Yori, if you like, write it down. If the federal government makes the attempt to do the restructuring that these people are agitating for, it will never end, and that will mark the beginning of the disintegration of this country if care is not taken. Let us face the fact. It is a corruption fight back and nothing more.
Okay.
Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George.
I was speaking on the matter.
Yes, you were.
I humbly wish to disagree with Mr. George because you recall there was a time, even before Jonathan came in, that Asari Dokubo, Shetima, they were doing this indigenous conference. They did a conference which had no government backing. You know, we find it difficult to go down memory lane. Agitation in this country had always been there. But it has been elevated. What it has taken in a national space. Well,
that's what Mr. George is saying is that now there's this pushback by people who are feeling dispossessed in order to make it difficult for the sitting administration.
When Ralph Wazurike formed MASOB, it was not because he lost election. Let us know those who pushed him because he lost election. When the Niger Delta militants had their declaration more than 10 years ago, when Kensaro Wiwa was doing his environmental activism, it was because he lost election, or some people lost election, and they pushed Kensaro Wiwa. Let's not forget that agitation did not start this 2015.
Yes.
So that being the case,
be that as it may, there are those who have observed that there was much less of this kind of agitation in the immediate past administration.
In history.
But now you brought it full form.
No. In history, there is a time that we produced somebody. There was a time that produced Hitler. Hitler was produced for the Second World War, but was not produced for the First World War.
Okay.
When the First World War started, Hitler was not there, but Germany fought.
Joshua in Niger State, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning to the guests.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Please, I want to make this submission this morning. Because if you look at it very well, you discover, Uncle Yori, if we go, when are we going to stop this very playing game of who cheated who and who have not cheated who since after the Civil War? Uncle Yori, is it a cause to be born into this entity called Nigeria? Because I'm tired and many others in my shoe. Let all Nigerians rise and kill the issue of tribalism and ethnicity that tends to divide us. Please, Uncle Yori, you know that all this succession propaganda is all about 2019, and the winner takes all syndrome. God bless this very country, Nigeria. I'm telling you that our elites are just engineering and re-engineering the youth just to foster their own personal interest towards the year 2019. Uncle Yori, I enjoy your program very well. I wish that Mr. Eze will contest for the president of Nigeria and Dr. Yusuf will be the vice president and you will be the secretary of the federal government. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much,
If the system will allow us.
Okay, then stay with us, please. We got to go on a break and we'll be right back. Fassi, I need to hear your take on this as well. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. Now, Fassi, I want to hear your take on Mr. George's submission that, look, all of this agitation, when you look at it, can be taken with a pinch of salt. It's orchestrated largely by the losers in order to make it difficult for the winners. Is that overly simplistic?
Honestly, unfortunately, I find it difficult to align myself with his submission. You see, the issue of agitation in this country predated what we are saying now. For example, now, before independence, the thief agitation for self-determination was there. And that was why Awolowo was able to penetrate the thieves. And if you also look at immediately after the First Republic, you remember the agitation of Isaac Borough. Even before the coup, you remember he was a student of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And he was talking about the Izong nation. And all that, then we had a military incursion into the polity, then we had the Civil War and all that. But the point I'm making is this. What has happened to federalism is those who were the makers, if you look at Plato's Republic, he talked about democracy. Is it about democracy we should be practicing? Should it be winners take all? And not only that, Yori, the point is, what stops us from defining our own constitution? Why should General Abdulsalam Abubakar give us a constitution written by 2 or 3 people in their bedroom or the office and now call it, we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Now,
be all of that as it is.
So, the constitution as it is a fraudulent document, and nothing can be built on fraud.
Okay.
Nothing good.
I hear that. So what you're saying is that these agitations have always been with us. But there are those who have observed that, wait a minute, what's the whole intensity, heightened tempo of it in this time? We've always had these agitations.
Yes, but
in the immediate past administration, there was much less heard of this.
There are too many things. We're having educated people. We're having people who cannot realize their potentials.
Yes.
We're having people who have tried in their lives to make life better for themselves, and yet because of the system, they have not been able to achieve anything.
Okay.
So if you have a country of people well educated and yet they cannot excel, then there will be a lot of agitation if there would not be any suicidal attempt by these people.
Okay. Franklin, Mr. Franklin from Banana Island, thank you for holding on. Go ahead now, sir.
Hello, Uncle Yari. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I just want to, I'm a first-time caller to the program. I just want to make my own opinion
Sure, we'd appreciate it.
Concerning the topic of the... Okay, the basic truth about it is that Nigeria as a country is not the way it's supposed to be on a more serious note. Now, if people are saying that people are agitating because of the lost elections and things like that and other things like that, how do they feel when we operate one particular system that if you, for instance, you want to apply for an international passport, that you have to travel, you have to go all the way to Abuja or to Lagos? Why can't we have things like that in other states? Why does everything have to be centered only basically in Abuja and Lagos? If we want to operate a better system, then it is better for us to be able to let them open up like seaports in Port Harcourt, seaports in Onitsha, try as much as possible to develop the business in Aba. Aba is more or less like China, but we seem to forget about all these things, and then in fact.
Yeah. Okay. You're still with us? Okay, we lost that call, but we did get an import of what was
the import of what.
Yes, we got it.
It was talking about the spread of amenities and infrastructure and all the rest. But even that is for example, if you talk about America, there's so many landlocked states. If you talk Alaska, for example, Alaska as a state is in 11.5 months of the year, snow. But that's not to say that it's not producing, it's producing oil. But the point is that in this country we are not getting things right. And how to get things right? Let us have a constitution for the people, by the people. As it is now, the constitution we have now was never made by anybody other than the chosen few by General Abubakar. And should we continue to operate that 20 years after?
So it's not really reflective or representative of the people it was created for. Let me bring Mr. Olawale in, Olaide, I beg your pardon.
Education, the federal government controls education.
In Ojudu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ogriori.
Thank you for calling in.
God bless you. Chief Yusuf, God bless you too.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm a young boy, but at least from the history and the more information we have from our parents and all these things, I discovered the major problem we have in this country is not the presidency. It's not the presidency at all. The agitations or not that those are seeking for. The question is, what is the present governors doing with the funds giving them? Lagos fine was developed by the former, being that was the former capital. But after that, that's all for the great Tunibus and all of them. Come up together and make it a better nation. Remember that Ibadan was the headquarters of the Western region. But check Ibadan or your state. The question is, the Oyo even develop even more than how ours and others left it. So, only few things are there. But the problem we have is that, the Yoruba will say, that means when you have a child, fail an examination, you are saying, why do you perform? You must find an excuse.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I need to give a perspective to this. Let me tell you, if this was the system Awo found himself, he wouldn't have built Cocoa House. If this was the system, he wouldn't have founded the first television house in Africa. Let me tell you.
He wouldn't have been able to.
He wouldn't have been able to. No. Excuse me. Let me tell you. Do you know that they have tribes in Ghana? Do you know they have some of these things in other countries? One of the major, because the exposure one has determines the perspective one looks at this thing. If you do country by country analysis, you come down to Nigeria, you ask yourself, this is a country that has no father of the nation. You talk of fathers of the nation. When you talk of Ghana, sorry, do I continue?
No, please.
When you talk of Ghana, you talk of Nkrumah. You talk of Zambia, you talk of Kenekanda. You talk of
Tanzania.
Yes, Tanzania. You talk of Julius Mwalimu, Julius Kambarage Nyerere. In this country, when you talk of Nigeria, you see they bring out 3 pictures. In fact, some people don't know the symbol of bringing out 3 pictures.
Yes.
It means that in this country, we need to come as a group before we can take a decision. Once you make this country where one man will be all-knowing God, they will continually be. Even if you take the best
I beg your
decision.
pardon. I got to take Mr. Digboyega calling in from Alakpere. Good morning, sir.
Alagbado. Good morning.
Oh, sorry. Alagbado. My mistake.
Yes.
My producer's mistake.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning to the next guest there.
Good morning.
What I want to say is just so simple. You see, the problem in this country is not from a particular angle. It's from different angles. Because of different and individual interests of our personal self. One, the system is part of it. Part of the thing that comes to this country. Because the people in power and those who have influence over others, they have a way of manipulating our so-called constitution, which is being formed and created by our system. When someone is being accused of a particular crime in this country, if you have influence, there's a way they can bend the system for you to pass under it. The same thing will never work for just an ordinary man or an average Nigerian who couldn't bend the same system those people are bending. Yes. And again, we have ethnicism. The other thing that affects us in this country, mine is Paul, yours is Apollo. So we don't have that friendship within ourselves.
Okay.
So it's generating to this kind of situation that we have in this country that is causing
I want to thank you, Mr. Digboyega, for calling in. You know, you sound like a young man, but you have this, this particular vision, this view of it. Now, firstly, I'd suggest that what the young man was saying, he might not be a young man, so pardon me if indeed you are not a young man. What the gentleman was saying, it ties back to what Mr. George said earlier, that leave the system, guys. The people who are operating the system, they are more of the problem than we are crediting the situation with right now.
Because the system sustains them.
Okay.
The system sustains corruption. The system sustains nepotism. The system sustains all manners of evils being perpetrated into society. And we ourselves are guilty. Every one of us.
Yeah, but you see, now I'm confused. We say it's not the system, it's the people managing the system. It's because the system supports them. Yeah. So who created the system?
The system was created by the foundation of this country as a result of the constitution that some people are capitalizing upon.
Okay.
Because if you see the constitution says you as the governor, you can do this, you can do that. Or where the state assembly fails to pass your budget, you can spend part of the budget of last year. That's why you will say, governor, awarding a contract of 1 billion without consulting anybody. Look at what is playing out in River State now. When all the commissioners were saying that they were just doing sit down look. And the governor will just be the one to start the meeting, will be the one to end it. And that is what's happening in most of the states of the federation.
Okay, one moment, please.
The governors will just bring in people and they will not be empowered.
Thank you, Mr. Okpara, for holding on in VI. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Uncle Yuri, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to your guest here.
Good morning.
Uncle Yuri, if I may ask you this question and my guest here, are you happy seeing this nation like this? What are you enjoying with this particular nation we are in today? If we have traveled abroad and come back, you will visit your nation. Now, this for this nation, nothing to show. This 50-something years. Is this how we ought to be? We are calling of restructuring, and some people are saying, no, don't need this. I'm telling you the truth. Nigeria is not working. Let me tell you something. Even Ghana here, go to Ghana and come back, you will tell the testimony. Why is people afraid of restructuring? Things are not working. We are talking of restructuring. Come, let us see how we are going to build this nation, how we are going to develop. Nigeria is not developed. Nigeria is not developed. It's a pity.
All right. Thank you very much for that central point. But as to Nigeria not working, I guess you could look at it as the glass being either half full or half empty.
Yes,
Yori was asked a question.
Let me add something.
No, Yori was asked a question. He has not answered it.
I want to
Are you
answer
happy
that
with what is happening in the country?
He asked all of us this.
You are the
No, Yori wouldn't want to answer. I give you an instance.
But it's a rhetorical question.
Take Brazil now.
Yeah.
The prosecutors want to charge the president for corruption. It's the system that has made it possible. In this country, we cannot do it. Now, look at South Africa. The president overspent in the name of that he wanted security vote.
Yes.
Not only that, to refurbish his...
to refurbish his house. Look at... There has not been peace. There have been from one country to another.
It was to refund the money.
Yes, let me tell you.
You could also look at America,
let me
where they are taking
no,
on the president.
You are going too
if
far.
we go there,
that's
people will say
that's a Eduardo. That's Eduardo.
No, that's why I want to use local examples. Yes, let me tell you. There is no human... Let me tell you, human beings are not good. It is the system that restrains and constrains human beings to behave well. There is no... Human beings are not good in themselves. What we are thinking in this country is that there can be... We will get do-gooders who will come and bless us. It is...
Without it being structured.
Like he said, when you have a constitution agreed upon, do you know what happens now? If election is conducted in a state...
But that's if we keep the constitution.
No, I just want to give you an insight. If election is conducted in a state and you win as governor, those who lost will go federal and begin to use federal to destabilize the state.
Okay, I'm going to go on a break.
Right,
I understand what you're saying. You see, it goes back to the people that are working the system. But
no,
let's come back to it. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're looking at it and you're saying it's not, there seems to be this, one part of the conversation says, you know, the system is nothing is perfect, but that system is not as bad as it's being made out. It's the people operating the system. Other people say, no, that is, it's not the people. So what are you talking about?
As I said, the foundation of this country, the beginning and the end of this country is our constitution. For example, the constitution, though it's said to be a federal constitution, but it's a unitary constitution.
But how about the mindset of the people?
Secondly, the contents of the constitution has done a lot of damage to this country and to the system.
Is it the constitution that made us into this, that made us this corrupt?
Was it the color that made the allusion to the president that could be prosecuted, the Brazilian president, and all that? Can we in this country, can anybody, without a fiat, without the authority of the Attorney General, who is an appointee of the president, go to court? They want to prosecute the president,
Fassi, help me out here. Help me out here.
Yes.
Look, do you think we can have the kind of constitution such as you envisaged, the right one? Imagine everything that should be right, and would make corruption impossible.
Excuse me.
Can we have a constitution that would make corruption impossible?
If you build structures, build institutions, and again, if we have constitution, no constitution is perfect. Even America is not a perfect society, because if it were to be a perfect society, somebody like Donald Trump would not emerge as the president.
Your opinion?
No,
I mean, his supporters don't see it like that. But that's a different matter.
But there are checks and balances.
Yes.
Look at some of the first executive orders he issued. The court, even High Court, ordinary circuit court, notified that the bloody thing.
You see, Eze said that, look,
but in this country,
inherently, the human being is not a nice, law-abiding kind of a person, inherently.
Yes.
So that's why I was pursuing that. Look, Fassi, are we going to have such a good constitution that we won't have corruption in this country again because of the quality of our constitution?
Acceptable constitution.
Yes, that will wipe out corruption.
No constitution can wipe out corruption.
It will succeed in building institutions that will tackle corruption.
Okay.
Not that,
much more effectively than what we have at the moment. I got to take on Elizabeth. Elizabeth has been holding on for a while in Abuja, for which I thank her very much. Good morning, ma'am.
Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
I've been holding on. I've been calling for more than 30 minutes now.
I'm so sorry, and we're so glad to have you.
No problem. Let me go straight to the point. I'm a first-time caller, and I'm happy having you.
We're glad to have you.
Do you know what happened? This country, we are not sincere to ourselves. Now, let me tell you something. Look at it. Let me tell you something. The rail, lot 2 rail in Abuja. The lot 2 rail in Abuja.
Hello?
I'm with you.
Yes. Were you saying something?
Yes, the lot 2 rail in Abuja. They have signed an MOU on that lot 2 rail.
I didn't quite get you. The something rail in Abuja.
Lot 2 rail. You know we have lot 1, lot 2, lot 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Lot C rail.
Okay.
Lot 3. Maybe lot 1, lot 2, lot 3.
Yes. So what about it? Please continue.
Lot 2.
Okay, continue, please. We'll catch on as you continue.
Now, ask the question, why are they not working on that rail? Just because it's not a Chinese man that was given an MOU on that rail.
Rail system.
Yes. You're talking about rail systems.
That is what I'm saying. Why are they not working on it?
Are you suggesting that it's the unfairness that we're talking about? What's your point?
Lack of continuity.
My point is that it's because of those people working. They said the people on that seat, FCC minister.
Okay. Now I get your point.
Yes, it's still the unfairness because they are not getting kickback on that lot 2 rail. That is why it has not worked up till now.
Okay.
So
the guys are holding on to it because nothing is entering into their pocket.
So talking about the system.
Thank you very much.
The system.
Going back to the system.
Look,
this is one example of
that. We have not succeeded in building institutions, and there's no continuity in governance in this country.
Which is the problem Elizabeth is highlighting.
Yes,
there's a lack of continuity.
Lack of continuity, either because of personal interest or parochial interest, or because of corruption. In any case, parochial interest is also corruption. So, and that's what she's saying. Because if you look at so many things happening, for example, if you look at even Lagos State, for example, my own the state that I live, for how long will it take to build a race system? Over the last 10 years now, this thing is being on and on and on and on. Nothing has been delivered. For how long?
Well, government does this matter about prioritizing, you know.
Look at Lagos Ibadan highway. For how many years will it take for to maintain a road?
So, are you saying that we not just continuity, we also lack commitment?
Once we have the right structure,
yes.
Once we have the right system, people will surely do things wrong.
We know.
But the system, the system
we
have a way to correct it.
Yeah, but how do we get this system
how to
that
get
we all are
that
loving?
system is to sit down and agree on a workable constitution. When we have a workable constitution, when we have a workable constitution, I should be able to blame only institutions within the Southwest for everything happening in the Southwest. Because what you have done now is that you've made people confused. Some people will be shouting it's local government. They say some people will be shouting it's state government. Some people will be shouting it's Abuja. And when their governors and local government chairmen tell them that, oh, Abuja has not given us approval, everything, Abuja has not given us approval, then people will now begin to blame Abuja for everything.
Mr. Babalola in Abeokuta, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Babalola.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Please go ahead.
Enjoying your discussion this morning. But the problem we have is the problem of constitution. Until we have a constitution prepared by the Nigerians, all these problems will continue to devil us. So the problem we have is the foundational problem. The problem of the constitution. And I remember somebody earlier on mentioned that the constitution only taken by 2 or 3 people, and then with the instruction that
Mr. Babalola, we got your drift. We lost you, but fortunately you were able to get it all in. Again, it's like you and Dr. Fassi are on the same page. this constitution has to be fixed. Everybody is saying that.
We're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page on that score.
Except Yori.
But
Yori,
the matter of restructuring.
It's part of it now. It will be embedded in it.
Exactly.
It will be in the
but there are those who
constitution.
have said that if we go there, there will be no end to it.
No, that's not true. Let me tell you, Yori.
Listen.
Wait, it is somebody who does not understand what restructuring means. Restructuring is a generic term.
Okay, I agree with you, but we don't have the time to explain it.
Excuse me.
We
Was
understand.
Midwest region not taken out of West?
Southwest? Was that not
Western
restructuring?
region?
That was restructuring, right?
Yes.
Was there any, what happened?
The people go to
And yet it was still small. Can you compare that with the size of the north?
Okay, the other thing we usually bring out when we get to this kind of a juncture is, okay, where is the political will to do that which is needful?
Good.
That's the whole subject.
And that's
for
where
another
political party
That is what
manifesto
that is the cocoa.
That
like,
is
as
it.
you say, is the cocoa of the matter.
Political party manifesto.
Gentlemen, it's a conversation that has to continue on another day because it's about this, our beloved country. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Fasi Yusuf, lawyer, communications consultant, and Dr. Chukwuemeka Eze. Okay, Mr. Chukwuemeka Eze, lawyer and
it's
public
approaching
affairs
like now to
analyst.
get this PhD.
Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspectives. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.